Welcome, everyone, to our podcast with the doctors and practitioners who are helping people on this wonderful life wave technology. We have Dr. Tim here with us today, Dr. J. They're both chiropractors practicing full time. Dr. Tim has his beloved wife practicing with him, so they've got like a tag team going on over there. Dr. J's daughter is back in the saddle, smiling and grinning. We've been praying for her. It's so good to see her, that big old grin on her face. I got so tickled, Dr. J, when you said she was pulling her hair. I'm like, she's got to be getting well now. I'm like,
Yeah.
cute. But y'all don't know about this. He's got a special, wonderful daughter that the patches have just done a miraculous work on her. I mean, it's just amazing what this technology does. But today we're going to talk about the Performance Pack. And what is the Performance Pack? X39 and 49. It's one of the greatest combos out there. And I'm going to let Dr. Tim kind of kick it off. I know this is one of his favorite patching systems. And then Dr. J, you can join in after him. And then I'll wrap us up here as we get to the end of the call. So, Dr. Tim, take it away.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Stan. Welcome, Dr. J, and everybody. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Performance Pack. And man,
Oh,
what?
do a disclaimer, Dr. Tim, real quick.
Oh, that's right.
You always forget that.
We do. We are not medical doctors. We are not here to diagnose, treat, or to give any medical advice. We have nothing to do with allopathy. This is our disclaimer. And again, we are not your doctor. So when it comes to concerns like that, take it up with your primary. But we are here to show you how to support your body and to optimize and advance your life, because
Amen.
that's what the patches do. I mean, I see it every day in the office.
There you go.
But yeah, so there's our disclaimer. I think we got everything. But yes, folks, I'm Dr. Tim Tag of the Tag Team, they call us. I practice with my wife, Dr. Kathy, of 22 years in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And we implemented the patch technology in the office just over a year ago, and with amazing results. I have testimony after testimony, but we're going to talk about the Performance Pack, which is it's the X39 and the X49. And we'll mention this again, but when you purchase those, we call them the Performance Pack because when you purchase those together, you get a discount. And yeah, so you can purchase those and save some money. And again, you're going to hear, I personally wear a 39 Eon, the inflammatory accommodation patch, and then the 49. So, but again, with the X39, we have cells in our body that they're regenerative cells. And the cool thing is, when we're younger, our body is full of them. So whenever our body needs cells, when it needs tissue repair or anything, our body is full of them. By the time we're in our mid 30s, we lose about 50%. By the time we're in our 60s, we lose about 90%. Now, the thing is, we don't lose them. They don't die off. They just go dormant, which is a good thing because we have a way to reactivate those cells. And that's what the X39 does. The X39, when you place it on your body, I don't have a patch on me. Usually I have all my sleeves here. My apologies.
You're fine.
But anyhow, the X39 patch, you place it on your body, and we have infrared light in our body. And if you've ever seen like the military channel and the night vision scopes at night, they show up bright white. That's the infrared light emanating from their body. Well, that patch, it reflects that back into the body, and it stimulates a copper peptide called GHKCU copper peptide. And what happens is that GHKCU copper peptide further activates those regenerative cells. So regardless of what age we are, you can place that X39 in your body and you can reawaken those dormant cells. And those cells, regenerative cells, can become any cell in the body. We don't even have to think about it. If our stomach needs more acid, if our gut needs better lining, if there's a tissue problem, if there's a tear in your skin, those cells automatically go to where the healing needs to occur, and they become those cells. So think X39 and GHKCU copper peptide, because we're gonna talk about some cool stuff here in a minute. But then there's the X49. Okay, the X49 is that stimulates the daughter peptide of GHKCU copper peptide. It's called the AHKCU copper peptide. So between those two, you got those regenerative cells, you got all the healing going on with the 39 and the AHKCU copper peptide. It's really good for those like um, we've been seeing patches on like Olympic athletes, and more than likely they're using the X39 Eon and the X49 because that is good for it's for muscle tissue, it's good for cognition, it's good for getting blood to all parts of the body. And I know I talk about this a lot, but with the X49, it stimulates it stimulates the innermost lining of our cardiovascular system. They're called endothelial cells, and it's only one cell layer thick, and it helps stimulate and support those endothelial cells, which is awesome because you're hearing a lot about cardiovascular problems, um, heart attacks, and strokes, and clots, and how easy to take a patch and put it on your body to stimulate and to support those cells to maybe keep up with that healing process so none of that happens. So between those two cells, there's a lot of good stuff that happens. And then Dr. Stan, want me to get into the Faraday cage kind of thing?
If you want to, sure.
Okay. Now here's the cool thing. Okay, you can look at all the research out there, and copper is a great blocker of electromagnetic frequencies, folks. All right. So, and I've mentioned two copper peptides. When you have that X39 patch and the X49, your body, the copper peptides in your body that are activated, stimulated, your whole body becomes a Faraday cage. And if LifeWave patches, if that was the only thing that it did, it would still be worth it to, I mean, along with the other, I mean, the countless other physiological responses and all the other patches, but your body becomes a Faraday cage because those copper peptides help block that though all these harmful EMFs coming from all the towers and the planes and just everything, all these radio waves going through our body. So there's so many benefits, and that's one of the reasons why it's called a performance pack, because it does amazing things. And the majority of patients that come in our office, they're X39. Of course, we do the Eon because we want that as your body's healing. We have that inflammatory process. It accommodates that process. But those that lead an active lifestyle, those that they need to think a little bit more, they're like, I can't really, I'm trying to get my purpose. I'm trying to move forward. And those that weight train athletes, we add the X49 to that. So that's the performance pack in a nutshell.
All right. Well, thanks, Dr. Tim. Dr. J, what insights would you like to share about the performance pack?
Well, I would, good to see you, gentlemen, again. Nice to be back. I would like to kind of just piggyback on what Tim finished with. I've always called the X49 like the athlete patch, because it's for people that are actively trying to maintain or gain physical fitness. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that just don't care. There are. But there's a lot of people out there that do care. I mean, keeping your muscle mass after the age of 40, 50 and into your 60s and 70s, it does start to get difficult in this combination of the 3949. It definitely is a game changer. I got a patient that's near 70 that he didn't start exercising. He did not start exercising, but he started, I've mentioned this guy, Eric, before. He started on the 3949 carnosine glutathione Eon. That's what he started with day one. He was wearing 5 patches, and in 5 months, his arms were more solid, and he's 69 years old. So he was and always will be a motivating factor in me using more. I love the dynamic duo, and every day of my life I will have it on. But there's more days than not I've got more patches on than just those two. I love the fact that we can have those in tandem and give a Faraday cage aspect, like Dr. Tim just mentioned, protecting ourselves from the electromagnetic frequencies and waves that are out there everywhere, and a lot of them are so damaging to our bodies, and we don't even know we're getting attacked. So, having that as a secondary benefit, like Tim just mentioned, if that was all it did, it'd be worth it. But there's so many more things that it does. The 49, from my learning of it, I know the 49 is geared toward muscle and brain, and your heart is one of the biggest, most important muscles in our body. So it's got the cardiovascular aspect of it, and it's also for bone health. And when you wear them both, the 39, 49 together, you're just getting not only the blanket coverage of the 39, overall, a regenerative cell support that are where the blankets the whole body, but you're really focusing with the 49 on some of the most important parts of our body: the heart, the brain, and like the cardiovascular system in general. The epithelial lining, like Tim said, is only one layer thick. It's important that we protect those things and support them and grow them stronger as we age. We can do that with this technology. It's quite remarkable. I'm going to try not to get teary at all. But we had a pretty big scare with Jacoby. That was a couple weeks I'll never forget, and it wasn't easy. We went down there. I was sleeping. I can't turn my neck right now. 10 days in a row, I'm sleeping on that terrible hospital furniture. I really could not leave and be comfortable, so I just didn't leave. I'd come back to the office for a few hours of work every day. My wife took care of getting the big kids to school, but it was my job to stay with her. And I made a photocopy of this because this is what I did with Jacoby. For the first 3 days, she was doing all of these patches 12 hours a day. Okay. And then she was getting better remarkably fast. Everybody was impressed. I was very happy that the medical team down at Helen DeVos in Grand Rapids let me use my non-transdermal modalities that didn't interfere. They let me do whatever I wanted to do, and I was very, very thankful for that team. In fact, she was getting. We went in on the 3rd, midnight on the 3rd, and she went in with respiratory distress. She was almost. They intubated her. They put a tube down into her lungs within 30 minutes of me showing up. So I immediately knew this was not going to be a put oxygen on her for 6 hours and then get sent home situation. So within 3 days of me doing this program, we were getting the tube out, and she was breathing on her own. And if it wasn't for an odd interaction with albuterol, which sent her kind of into cardiac arrest, we probably would have gotten out a week ago, like Sunday. But she had we took the tube out. I went home. I'm thinking everything's fine. I'm in the shower, and my wife calls me, get back down here. And, they had to pull the paddles out, and they had to shock her to get her heart back into a rhythm. It was very, very scary stuff. But since that time, I split this into two. I was doing 12 hours a day of all 8 of these patches. But then when I left, her patches were off, and I'm like, okay, we got to split the time up. So I don't know if you guys will like this, but I'm actually asking your opinion a little bit. One column was the daytime, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. section, and the other column was the 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. because I did not want an hour to go by without her body having patch support. And it led her back to a position where we could get her out of there faster than the normal, which is also important. but I really realized that she was doing fantastic when she had her patch support on, and then when it was off, she did kind of bad. So I didn't want to risk it again. So I had the cardio support with the carnosine and the 49. And I did on the other half, I did the 39 with the overall support. Um, I just know for me and my family, we will serve the Lord and we will use these patches. And the 39-49 combination, I mean, she's worth it, but she's wearing all these patches all the time now.
Yeah.
I think I went on a tangent there, but she's high.
Fine.
She's high on my heart, on my mind, and will be for a long time for what we just went through. But yeah, the cardio support from the 49 is something that she needs now. We had a pretty good heart scare with her, so something we didn't think we were going to go through. But yeah, that the 49 does specifically the cardiovascular system, muscle, strong bones, like the epithelial lining, skin. Yeah, so pretty wonderful set of tools we have here, and we will be using them aggressively. That's a little bit. I don't even know what you asked me, Dr. Stan.
Well, we're just talking about the performance pack, and you've covered that pretty well with the situation there, And one of the things I love about, what everybody is saying about these patches, because when it comes to healing, number one pathway to healing is making sure those blood vessels are open. You have oxygen, nutrients reaching parts of the body. If your cardiovascular system and the circulatory system is not delivering, then the body, wherever it's at, not delivering, is being starved to death. And that's where sickness and disease can start. And then, of course, the second line of defense is not only having a good circulatory system that delivers, but you got to have those pluripotent cells working in the body together. So these two patches, what we're saying works synergistically together to deliver a way for your body to be able to heal, restore, rejuvenate, and repair itself naturally without the use of nutraceuticals or pharmaceuticals. We thank God that, we have hospitals to go to for emergency care. Obviously, that was something that was part of your daughter's care. And that's a wonderful thing. We have a wonderful medical community in this country. And when it comes to emergency care, there's none that surpass what we're able to do here in the States for emergency care. But at the same time, we thank God for emergency care, but you have to have daily care and take care of the temple, the body that God has given us. And these two patches, the performance pack, is an excellent way to support your natural health. As Dr. Tim said, we're elevating two different copper peptides. The X39 is a pluripotent cell activation system. As Dr. Tim said, it will go in just as soon as something goes wrong in the body. Those pluripotent cells start to wake up and go to the area that the body is needing repair, healing, and rejuvenation. And so it can go anywhere in the body and provide this. But the X49 with the AHK copper peptide works primarily in the areas that we've talked about, the muscle, the heart, the brain, the skin, and things of that sort, which is why it's good for cardiovascular. Again, we're not prescribing or diagnosing, treating, or making medical claims. We're just telling you, when you get the cells in your body operating the way that God intended for them to operate, it's going to heal, restore, rejuvenate, repair, and bring your body into a state of what I like to call homeostasis, a balance, where the body can heal itself naturally. And then if there are times when we need to go to the hospital, by all means, go to the hospital, get your emergency care, get the medical treatment that you need. We're not dismissing that at all. But our first line of defense is really prevention rather than looking for a cure. So these patches, as we've learned with Dr. J, are great for emergency purposes, but just think, if you do this every day, you're aligning yourself with prevention. And when I grew up, they used to say prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's like the old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. All these things make a lot of sense when it comes to our patches. So if you're looking to live longer, healthier, prevent sickness and disease, or if you're in a situation where you do need some extra help to repair and heal when your body's in a crisis, this technology can work for you also then. I would highly recommend it. As always, that's up to you and your medical doctor. We cannot tell you what is or isn't okay when it comes to medical conditions, but like with Dr. J, it was really cool, Dr. J, that your medical team was open and receptive. And I know you were in there and giving your 2 cents and taking care of your daughter while you were there. And I'm just so excited that they allowed you to do all of that, because there's some places that might not have accommodated us, in those situations. So that's the performance pack. We've got a couple of minutes here to answer any questions. Jody, are there anything in the chat that we need to address? Or you guys, can you think of anything else? Any questions? Now would be the time to raise your hand, or we'll let you go ahead and ask the question in the chat, and we will do our best to get you the answer.
Dr. Tim, you might want to reiterate some that are in there that you've answered.
Okay, let me see what we got here. Okay. Is there any studies that show the combo blocks EMF 5G? I'm using the Duo myself. And if you go on YouTube, David Schmidt goes into detail with that. And there's multiple studies that prove the EMF blocking capabilities of copper. Okay, so here's some of the books: GHKCU copper peptide. So as these copper peptides are stimulated, the copper is going throughout the body. And yeah. So let me see, go down here. Okay, gentleman in his 60s with multiple sclerosis. And I responded to that. Is he drinking plenty of water? Add Eon, place X39 behind the neck around C7. And I'm going to further discuss with this gentleman. So we'll get back with you on that one.
Very good.
And just see. I love the patches. I'm curious if there's any negative impact to wearing them all of them under the belly button. And the way these patches work, folks, they work systemically. So you can put them anywhere on the body and it activates the entire body. And the reason why there's certain locations, like on the sleeves, when you get your patches, that's where the studies were performed. So in any of the studies that David Schmidt did, it was in those locations, but you can actually put them anywhere. So
yeah.
Let's see.
Put them on the body. As somebody used to say, where do I put it? On your body. It's just somewhere. Put it on the body.
Put them somewhere. Yeah. And I don't know. I think.
Well, I've got a question here about 39, 49 when you wear them. Most people wear 39, 49 during the day because they can have enhanced natural energy in your body. That doesn't mean that we do know some people who can use X39 at night or 49 at night with no contradiction of rest and sleep. So all I can tell you is that we don't recommend them at night because of that. But if it works better for you to try it that way, by all means, give it a try. You never know. We do know some people that can use the technology in the evening and not disrupt their sleep. But I would, be prepared the first time you try it, that it could cause you to wake up and feel a little energetic during the middle of the night. but it may not. But so that's a personal choice as far as that goes. But for the most part, we recommend 3949 to be worn during the day.
Yeah, good point.
Could you use the patches? Our inventor, David Smith, why he recommends 12 on and 12 off. It's simple. Your body needs 12 hours to rest, repair, and rejuvenate. We don't need to sleep 24 hours a day, and we don't need to patch 24 hours a day. And so it's designed to where you activate these peptides, stimulate the body's cellular level systems, but then you need to give it a rest and give it time to repair, heal, and restore, and then start all over again the next day with it. And so that's the best way to patch: 12 on, 12 off.
There's another one here, Dr. Stan. My face keeps getting red. Not sure what's causing it. I was going to do the 39 and the Eon. Do you agree with this? Yes, that is a great place to start, because when you do a 39 and Eon, I can go deep into this, but it helps to re-auto regulate your autonomic nervous system. So a lot of times if your face keeps getting red, it's because a lot of people, they're stuck in this sympathetic mode. So it's going to help re-auto regulate down into that healing, into that parasympathetic mode. So yes, start off with 39 Eon and lots of water.
Yeah. Can't emphasize enough about water. I know Dr. J, a couple of weeks ago, he recommended, what was that tip you gave, Dr. J? I really liked it.
Yeah, most people know the rule of thumb on water is half of your body weight in ounces is what we should strive for and achieve in water consumption per day. But if you guzzle, your body's not absorbing. So the new recommendation I just saw not too long ago was 3 to 4 ounces every half hour. And that helps you get into the habit without guzzle. And it helps the reabsorption rate much higher. Better for us if we're doing a little bit here, a little bit there throughout the day versus 3 or 4 times trying to put down 16 or 20 ounces. Yeah. So 3 to 4 ounces every half hour is the recommendation I just learned not too long ago, and I love it. It's a good one.
It's a good one because, all the research I've read too is, like you said, is if you drink 16 ounces or more, you're going to pee a lot of it out because your body can't absorb but so much at one time. It doesn't mean it's necessarily hurting you, but obviously too much water, you drown. There is such thing as drinking too much water if you're doing something like that. But yeah, that's a good recommendation, because I hear everyone, our inventor, David Smith, every practitioner, everybody agrees on this one thing: drink extra water. Get used to drinking water. One question is, can you use 49 alone? Absolutely. There's no reason why you can't. Personally, if I had a choice between using 39 and 49, I would always use 39, because 39 will do what 49 does. It might not just be maybe as fast or whatever, but you can use that one by itself if that's what you choose to do.
I did see somebody comment on liking the 12 hours of like the AM set and a PM set. Now, I don't do that anymore but with Jacoby, but that was in a high crisis emergency situation where I did not want her body to not have patches on it 1 hour a day, let alone 12. And I tweaked it to what her needs were. So if you're in an emergency situation and you want to do that, I did that to separate the patches. I do 12 hours on. We just talked about 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Well, the 12 hours off for the 39 was 12 hours on for the 49. I might change that up a little bit, but I wanted her to have 24-hour patch support, so I accommodated it that way. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. She uses the SP6, the glutathione, the energy enhancer, 3949 Eon, carnosine, and Elevata. I just split them into 2, tried to be equal sized groups, and I the only thing I did on purpose was the Elevata at night. Other than that, it was just okay. Separate the 3949, separate the Eon and Energizer or energy enhancer, and then the the glutathione and carnosine, I could have done at the same time. I just didn't want to. So I thought it was a great idea too, because of what I want. I wanted her coverage to be 24/7 in the emergency situations we had. Now what I'm going to do with those two sets is I'm going to alternate Monday, Wednesday, Friday. She gets this set of 4. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, she gets this set of 4, and Sunday she'll have a kind of a day off with just the dynamic duo.
Awesome.
But that's what
Guys,
we're going to do
we're
going
coming
forward.
down here to the end, and we've got lots of questions. We could probably spend the next 2 or 3 hours answering everybody's questions, but we promised to keep this to 30 minutes. The doctors have appointments. They have to run. Everybody has obligations. And we just want to say thank you for jumping on. You can attempt to message us. You know, it's hard to get a hold of doctors and people like that for your help, but anything we can do to help, we appreciate it. Dr. Tim, Dr. J, thank you so much for being on board today. We always appreciate your knowledge, your input, and your help. And of course, when we have this amazing technology, it kind of makes it easy to share such wonderful information. So with that, guys, keep patching, drink your water, take care of yourself, and we'll see you somewhere in the highways and byways of life.